Hello. Lucio Cochanco Jr. has served as president of FlyAce Corporation, a family corporation since its inception in 1993. For the past 3 decades, he has stirred the company from its humble beginnings as a rice trader in Divisoria to the company it is today. FlyAce Corporation is the proud owner of leading household brands such as Jolly, Dona Elena, and Good Life, all of which are number one in their respective categories. FlyAce is also the exclusive distributor of world-renowned brands such as Welts, Mott's, Lotus Biscoff, Francia Wines. With a growing product portfolio that showcases the best of the world, FlyAce continues to be committed in bringing world-class products to the Filipino home. Welcome, Jun. How are you, Jun?
Very good, Josiah. First, I'd like to thank you for inviting me to your seminar, Transition from Family to Professional Management. First, I'd like to say that I'm not a expert on this topic, but I am very happy to share my journey for the last 3 decades on how we manage and transition from a traditional Chinoy family based in Divisoria to where we are right now. I know we are far from being a perfect organization, but we try our best to professionalize and be ready for the next generation. So again, Josiah, thank you very much for inviting me. I hope your viewers will learn something from my journey and my sharing. Thank you. Thank you very much.
That's very humble of you, Jun. But you mentioned about your family started in Divisoria selling commodities like, rice, no? But, then you started distributing imported products. But now you have your own brand. Can you tell us what the starting point of or the thought process behind carrying your own brand? And that takes a lot more effort, no? Developing your own brand.
Yeah, that's very true, Josiah. So it started during the mid-90s. So from a purely agricultural trading company when my parents started the business way back in 1972 when they migrated from Cabanatuan, Nueva Ecija. We slowly incorporated the imported products into our selling portfolio. As you may know, during those time, rice commodities and other agricultural products were very controlled by the government. So there's really not much margin or profit, as we may say. So we slowly migrated to selling imported products. So fast forward to the mid-90s, we decided to develop our own brands, no? And this is because we want to survive our distribution business. During that time, the MNCs, no, or the multinational, slowly took over the brands we used to trade and distribute. So
Wow.
yeah. So it was a wake up call actually when we witnessed a big distribution company sold their delivery trucks and retrenched their whole entire sales division because one of their biggest principal canceled their distribution contract. So we thought during that time that if we want to have a stable distribution business, we have to create our own brand, no? Brand that we can invest in and grow at our own pace, no? Brand that nobody could take away from us. So to be specific, in 1997, we started to develop our very own house brand, like as you mentioned earlier, the Jolly canned veg, canned fruit, Dona Elena the Mediterranean lines, Good Life Oriental products, Jolly Cow, and more. No, it was not. I had to admit, it was not easy during the start, given the fact that those brand has zero brand awareness, zero brand recall, barely no distribution and placement. But at that time, we told ourselves, this is our future. So we really persevered in making sure that our brand will be successful. So
True.
that's basically how we ended up owning and developing our own brands.
That was very courageous, June, no? And even Jolly, I understand it's named after your siblings, di ba? You and your siblings?
Yeah, the word jolly was coined by my mom. No, so of course I'm Lucio Jr. So they call me June at home, and then I have two other brothers, Louis and Larry. So she just picked up the first letters of his three sons, put them together, and that's where jolly came from.
It's such a beautiful name. I'm a consumer. I buy Jolly, I buy Dona Elena, I buy your products, no? It's such a beautiful name, no? It just makes you jolly. Now I wanna just ask, because our topic is really about transition from family to professional. So you had the first big move, which is to create your branded product. And I'm sure, I mean, and you were saying no awareness, no distribution, no nothing, zero base. You had to start all over again because your principal took over many of the lines that you cared for, no? So when did it happen that you were also thinking about professionalizing your management team? So tell us the timeline between creating your own brand and professionalizing your management team. Was it one after another?
Okay, so if I look back, so when we bravely jump into creating, developing, and launching our own brand, then the next thing we realize is that that's only the first step. So we need to support the brands, and I have to admit, being a Divisoria trader, we do not know much about brand building. So at that point, the family decided we hire my wife as a one-year consultant. My wife, no, Evelyn, she was a former category manager from a multinational company. So she should know something about brand management and brand building. So so during that 1 year, she helped us set up our marketing department and also helped us hire our very first marketing manager before her 1 year contract as a consultant. So luckily that professional manager she hired stayed on with the company for the next 13 years. No, so and again to support the vision of Fly Corporation, becoming a leading provider of high quality consumer goods and an essential part of every household, we realize we need a structure and process to achieve this vision. So demand from trade partners, principals were becoming more sophisticated also. So our people had to level up. Our old people that are with us since we started. So we think we decided to train them and retool them to give them the opportunity to grow. So currently, no, all our current marketing directors are homegrown. No, they have been with Fly Ace for at least 10 years. No, and two of our sales directors are also homegrown. Both have been with Fly Ace for more than 15 years. So we realized that we need to professionalize, no, to support brands and the business. The first thing we look into is our own people. No, we train them, we retool them. No, and as an organization, no, I think we need to train our own talent, but of course, it has to be mixed by outside talent. And from time to time, we also hired consultants for special projects. So we can also learn from the best practices. So that's basically how we transitioned from a purely family-owned company to a professional organization.
That's good. That means skills are being passed on from an outsider to something within your organization. And what better proof is that you have homegrown talent being promoted from within, no? Congratulations. That's something marvelous for a family to a professional managed company. But let me ask you, June.
Yeah.
Sure, while you're trying to do professional management and you're not used to it, you're Divisoria based, no?
Yeah, that's very true.
I'm
We
sure
don't
you
know
have
anything.
you
I
have
have
learned you have committed mistakes and so what are lessons and I hope you don't mind my asking. So what are these mistakes that that are so memorable to you that you can share with our audience so that they can learn from you and say, okay, so June has shared this selflessly, and maybe we should avoid committing the same mistakes, no?
Mhm. Um, well, I think when we hire professional managers or promote from within, we want these people that we have identified to stay long in our organization and add value to the team, no, long term. That's basically what we want. But I think the first thing is it helps to understand the person we are hiring or promoting. No, if this person is fit in our organization or in the department, or if this person being promoted can cope, no, with the demands of the role, no, and the expectation. From for those people we recruit or invite from outside, what we learned is really we have to balance if they will adopt the existing culture of Flyers Corporation, and if they will be able to blend with our existing employees, no. So you might be able to hire a top caliber manager from a big company, but if they will not fit with the organization or our existing people, you might not get the best result you want from your team.
That's true.
Yeah, and actually, just to share, most of our successful hires are recommendations from our own employees, no, or promotions from within the organization. So basically, that's my personal experience, no, and doon naman sa firing, basically we only fire employees when there is integrity issue.
Okay.
And one thing we also notice is that a professional manager, if they know they are not contributing and their performance is not being appreciated by either their team or the management, usually they resign voluntarily. So we don't really need to fire. No, the professional managers, they know if they're not being appreciated. Maybe also they take pride, no, of their profession, no. If maybe in some organization their talent fits, no, and it really shows in their performance and their contribution within their team, no. But if they see na they're not being appreciated anymore, they look for other companies where maybe their talent, no, are much appreciated.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I
wala
get
naman wala naman kami na fire. Oo.
well, I get you. Earlier you said that it's the fit, culture fit that is very important, no?
I think that's more important than the sheer talent, no. Oo.
So are you implying that you had experience in the past that there's a professional manager and instead of them adjusting, they want you to adjust to them, no? So is that something that you have encountered or did I get it? Did I get it correctly, or how does it work?
Yeah, but the lucky thing is they really don't stay long. Not even they don't even end their probationary period of 6 months. Usually 2 months, 3 months, because they know themselves. And these are from these people are I should say high flyers. They are very high performers where they came from. But sometimes I don't blame them. No, don't get me wrong. Maybe also because where they came from, they have very structured, very specific role. And then when they come to our organization, hindi naman, I mean, we're just starting to professionalize. They maybe they're dismayed to realize na it's not my job. Why do I have to do this? Why do I have to collaborate with this? I expect the other department to perform this for me. So, well, those are the things that we learned, no? So,
Well, actually, it's mutual adjustment. Everybody adjusts, especially when you coordinate within an organization.
yeah.
But how do you now ensure clear communication and in fact even delegation of tasks within your organization? How do you do that?
Yeah. So communication for our organization, collaboration is very important. And in fact, collaboration is one of our corporate value. So it is very important for us to see our employee and departments closely collaborate. So one thing we notice when we start getting different talent from outside, they tend to operate like in silos. So we encourage regular alignment meetings between different departments. No? So in fact, we have several. Sometimes I think there's too much nga din eh. Alignment meetings, no? Like weekly warehouse and sales leadership meeting. There's a marketing and demand planning meeting. So, but we have those alignment meeting to ensure that each department are closely collaborating. No? So, yeah, so communication for us is really important, and that's one thing that we want to retain, no? If we get professional managers, especially from outside.
Yeah. And based on what you just said, I can already know that Fly Ace pays a lot of attention in execution because you have all this collaborate, you have all these coordination meetings, no? And in management, we always say coordination, commitment, competencies, communication. These are essentials of having a smooth execution. Otherwise, you have strategy, but if it's not executed well, then it's useless. All the plan will go to waste. No? Congratulations for that. And I think, I'm not very sure of if you have too many, but, I've seen other companies having, as many meetings too, no? Just to make sure that everything gets done. Now, I want to shift our conversation a little bit in terms of the family members, no? Because the transition is family to professional management. So what about the governance among family members and among the management team, no? So how is it? Before it's, your family members are involved. Now you have professional managers. So who is doing what? No? So how do you decide who is doing what?
So I think I have to admit this is also a a huge challenge, for me as the leader of Fly East Corporation. No? I have to make a close, very very tight balancing, between my siblings who are owners, and managers, or we call them the lead coms, or the man coms of that, or the head of each department. No, so I have to admit it's not easy. It's still a continuing journey up until now. No, because my siblings are still very young; they're almost my same age, so they also tend to get involved in the business. No, and sometimes it's good. Sometimes they overdo it, and sometimes the professional manager thinks that they're being micromanaged. So really, it has to have a balance, no, and also understanding. I think understanding, no, on the part of the professional managers that at the end of the day, these are owners, and they are same entitlement as me in taking care of the business and wanting to make sure that the business is successful, no. But I think the most important thing is we have respect, no, among us, the siblings, and professional managers. I think that's one thing we make sure we have, no, during the discussion. No, we never shout, we never curse, we never
Respect. You have respect of to each other.
Yes, and it is very important, no, to have a documented governance between family members and management team, no. So just to share, we recently launched our Leadcom charter, parang ano constitution. Very recent lang ito, no, and it took us what, a year to finally agree, no, in, the siblings, or what we call the family, and the professional managers, no. The Leadcom charter clearly documented the authorities and the accountabilities of the Leadcom members. So we even had a signing ceremony with the family members present, just to make sure and to show the Leadcom that this is supported by the family, no. First expectation from the management team is very high, no, because now we have the Leadcom charter, no, and it's documented, it's signed, no. But as soon as the Leadcom charter was signed, in our next Leadcom, I told the Leadcom members that don't expect too much, and don't expect the change to happen overnight.
Right.
I told them that this will be an enjoyable journey, you know, and I asked from them their commitment, their ownership, and their accountability. That's what I expect from the Leadcom now. But in return, I also expect from the siblings or the family members for them to practice letting go, no,
Okay.
Patience, and they have to learn how to mentor. Because as business owner, yun yung napansin ko, we're very good in directing and expecting things to get done as what we instructed. But there's not much mentoring, no, from the siblings, and that's what I told them. If you want yourself to be duplicated, and you want our managers to do how you do things, then you have to learn how to mentor them, so that
Share what you know. Yeah.
yes, and how you do things, no? So your expectation will be met. So I'm also encouraging them to learn how to mentor, so that we can finally let go, and less micromanagement. So I told both, no, the Leadcom and siblings that we will learn along the way, and we will make this successful. So at the same time, this all started, because I'm just sharing, this all started 2 years ago when we learned, when we launched the change management program within our Leadcom. So we want to transition from a demand and control environment. So, you know, a family-owned Chinoy, I mean, it's a very demand and control, you know. So we want to transition from that environment to a trust and inspire environment. So not because there was anything wrong with how we run our company for the last 30 years. Don't get me wrong. But we believe our professional managers can be more productive and can contribute more if they know that they are being trusted by the management and have full confidence in them.
True.
So we want our owners to, well, in a way, to stop micromanaging and stop mentoring the professional managers, while we want the managers to think like owners. So we want that transition. I always tell to my siblings. So we were not getting any younger. There will be time that we need to retire. So it's better that we see our professional managers managing and making decisions while we're still here. So we can correct them, we can mentor them, and we will also know who are the ones we want, to be with us when we retire. So we are in that phase now.
That's true. That's true. That's very admirable, no? But how do you ensure relevance of the family members in a professional work setting?
Okay, so first, I'd like to thank my parents and siblings in allowing FlyAce Corporation to slowly professionalize. No, it's a slow transition. So you can imagine it took us decades, no? But it's baby steps, no? To my parents who learned to let go as soon as we formed the company in 1993. So my parents established yung Jolly General Merchandise 1972, no? No, but that was the same year I got married. So I was appointed immediately as president and CEO of this newly formed FlyAce. So they allowed me to make mistake and continue to chart the direction of the company. Not that I was smart, nor I have proven anything at age 28, no. But I was the eldest boy. I was expected to lead the company, and I was really determined to bring the company to the next level. So after 30 years, I hope I have proven my worth to the family and to the organization. No, without their support, no, without the support of my siblings, I will not be successful as president and CEO. We may not always see eye to eye in some strategic decision, but I can always rely on their loyalty, their passion, sacrifice, and a very deep understanding of our business. So my siblings, are members of our family board. They are part of the monthly financial statement review. They are also invited in our annual national convention. They are consulted in all important matters. They are always welcome to join our monthly leadcom meeting. So I always try to embrace them, and try to let them know that they're part of the professional setup of FlyAce Corporation. So that's how I want them to feel relevant. Even we have all VPs, AVPs in different departments already. Now I want also to touch on our third generation, No doubt, they have been afforded much better education and experience compared to, my generation. They are the reason I challenge myself to professionalize FlyAce. I want to leave behind a company that will be attractive to them. If FlyAce cannot offer the compensation, benefit, opportunities for growth and development that multinational companies can, then I have failed the organization for their entry. So that's how I look at it for the next few years now, because the second generation, one finished school already. She joined the company, but the rest are still in university. So I have time. I have time to prepare the organization for their entry. So I also would like to share that we have a family constitution that has minimum parameters to be met before a third generation member can join our family business. If they are not interested or not qualified, then they will not be asked to join FlyAce. Because then I would be doing the company and our employee a disservice by allowing mediocre leader in our company that we have worked so hard to professionalize. So that's how I see it, the relevance of family members in our current professional setting.
Beautiful. You guys are so open-minded. It's so advanced. Coming from a divisoria background, I would not expect companies to. I've been to your office in the Mall of Asia area. Very impressive. You have your own building. You're professionally run. And you know that you cannot rely on the way things have been done in the past. You have to also change, no? But let me pick up from what you said uh, uh, in your family constitution. So, how do you approach decision making in your board, within your family board? Now, these are family members separate from your lead com, no? So, how is decision making process done?
We have invited independent directors in our family board, and usually I think that's the value of the independent director. I always tell my siblings that we grew up in Divisoria, we went to the same school, we were raised by the same parents, so most probably we think the same.
That's
We will be operating like a bubble, no? And during those time, there's no social media, and we hardly go abroad. So basically, how we think is formed by what we saw and what we experience. So we have independent director in our family board, and I think that's what makes the tie breaking vote when we have decision that needs to be decided. And the value of independent director in injecting ideas and some innovations that they witness in other organizations. So at least that's how we do it, no? And that's the value of a family board where you have independent directors. Yeah.
That's true. Giving you an objective opinion, and then it's up to you guys to decide, no? So
Yeah,
I
that's
I
correct.
think that's a good way of doing. Hey, June, this is such a wonderful interview. I've learned a lot, and thank you very much for sharing. You've been very selfless in your willingness to share to the public of how you have grown and how is the inner workings of the company, no? Maraming salamat, June.
Yeah, thank you also, Josiah, for inviting me. I hope your viewers have learned something, especially family owned company. So I hope I was able to share something they can maybe pick up or apply. I hope they learned something.
Thank you again, June.
Yeah, thank you.